Hello! Today's guide is going to be on MAiDS, why you might want them, how to get them, and I'll help you set up your keyboard shortcuts to use them more easily. Once you've progressed to level 51, you'll get a Black Spirit quest. We'll go ahead and hit comma to open our Black Spirit, hit R or left click main quest. Here you can see the Black Spirit's Special Gift Butler quest. Go ahead and left click or hit R. We'll press R a few more times here. Now we can see the quest summary. The rewards are either a storage butler or a transaction butler. This is a quest where you do have to select just one of these rewards. But don't worry, when you hit level 52, you'll get another quest to accept from your Black Spirit's Special Gift Maid. Whether it's a butler or a maid, the use is the same. A storage butler or storage maid, in my opinion probably the more useful of the two, can be used to move non-character bound items from your inventory from one character to another. It can be used to move items in and out of storages, and it's very useful when you're trying to kill monsters for extended periods of time and you start to run out of weight. You can offload 100 weight of junk items, for example, into your storage. Then you can return to killing monsters and just go back into town, pick up that junk loot, and sell it all later. Storage maids are super helpful to prevent you having to go in and out of town, whether you're grinding or questing, and can also be useful just to clear up inventory space if you've run out of slots. A transaction butler, instead of moving into a town storage, you can use to move in and out items from your warehouse storage. You can also put silver in if you're running out of money in the warehouse and need to buy something. And obviously the other way around, if you have a bunch of money in your warehouse and you need to repair your gear and for some reason you're out, or need to buy potions or something you need silver for on your character, you can use the transaction butler or maid to pull some money out of your warehouse. They both have their use cases, but personally on my main account I have way more storage butlers or maids than I do transaction. I actually believe I have about 4 times the amount of storage maids than I do have for transaction maids. I'm definitely not putting you off of and saying don't ever get a transaction maid. I use them all the time, especially when you're grinding an area that drops a lot of rare items or accessories. You can use transaction maids to put them into your warehouse where they stack versus town storage where they don't. I'll go ahead and hit R to accept the quest, and you'll see it auto completes. If I click main quest and the quest Black Spirit's Gift Butler that's in progress, you'll see I can't accept the reward right away, but if I hit go back, the Black Spirit sort of resets, recognizes that the quest has been complete, and by pressing R will actually let me accept the rewards. This is a lot faster than closing out of the Black Spirit, waiting the small delay, and then opening the Black Spirit right back up. That's a quick little tip that can be useful for inventory quests, for example, that also autocomplete. I'm going to pick the storage butler for now, but as soon as I'm level 52, I'll be getting the transaction maid, so I'll have one of each. That is my recommendation for a new player. If you do get these in the future from events or currency trade-ins, or you choose to use real money to buy them from the Pearl Shop, I would absolutely recommend getting the storage maids over the transaction at a rate of about 3 or at least 2 to 1, preferring storage over transaction. The biggest reason being that storage maids can move any item where transaction maids can only move items that can go into your warehouse and be sold on the market. The item you'll move thousands of pretty regularly are the junk item drops you find from monsters. This is one of the ways you make your money in this game, and it's a world of a difference having a bunch of storage maids to be able to offload those junk items instead of constantly going back and forth from your grind zone to town. Most grind zones you can use the horse infinite weight trick, but that isn't the case for every single grind zone, and some spots even have multiple junk drops that you may want to keep. The more you play, the more you'll see the benefits of each each of them. But if you were to all of a sudden be given 8 of these, for example, my recommendation would be to only get 2 or 3 as a transaction and the rest of them as storage. Without blabbing on anymore, I'll just click the storage, click R, then left click yes to confirm, or the space bar. Now I'll hit escape and open my inventory, and you can see my Pearl tab is glowing. I'll left click to go in there, and now you can see this glowing contract for the storage butler. If you right click this item and then click yes, you'll see that you have another one. The first one was essentially a box that has this actual contract inside of it. Honestly, I don't know the exact reason why they do it this way, but you will need to right click again and you'll see the contract disappear. Now I can see up by my pet list, there's an icon that's labeled employ maid/butler. We'll go ahead and left click this to open the menu, and here's listed all the ones that you have. I obviously just have the one for now. I don't find it useful, but you can sort specifically by central market or storage. I suppose if you had hundreds of these and you were trying to figure out which ones were on cooldown, it may be useful to use these. I'll click back to all. Speaking of cooldown, the storage maid can only be used once every 20 minutes. That probably answered the question if you were wondering why you would want to have 60 of these like I do on my main account. A storage maid can only move one single item or a group of stackable items up to 100 weight at a time. If you have multiple storage maids and I wanted to move around more than 100 weight, you can toggle on this group command. Honestly, this should probably just be on by default. You can toggle this on even with one storage maid, and I would just leave that on forever. There are many ways to access this maid. I can either open this menu and left click open storage, and then just like I was at the actual storage, I could right click an item to move it into the town storage, or same way I can take them out. But if I wanted this wheat, for example, instead of going into this menu and left clicking storage and then finding the wheat, you can actually hold control and hit F. Now I can simply type wheat. I'll press enter and it shows me that the wheat is in storage. This little tooltip shows you can right click to take this item out. I'll right click now. It'll tell you have one butler or maid available currently. It'll tell you again that you can only move 100 weight at a time if you only have one butler available. And then I can hit yes to confirm. If I only wanted to move out a specific amount of wheat for a quest or a craft, you can obviously type that number here or just left click maximum quantity if it is that you want all of it, and then left click OK or hit spacebar. I'll escape out of that and go back to my inventory, and here we see the wheat. If I left click on the maid butler icon again, you'll see that my storage butler is now on cooldown. It shows here I have 0 out of 1 available, and if I try to left click open storage, I'll get a notification that I do not have an available maid or butler. I showed you can hit Control F to find items, but another way, instead of left clicking this menu and left clicking storage, you can access your maid by assigning a hotkey. As this tooltip says, you can hold Alt and left click, and this actually works for any button that has this little icon in the corner. As you can see, that icon is both available for storage and the central market. For now, we'll hold Alt and left click storage, and now we can left click press to set. You'll see a keyboard pop up, and now I can just left click, for example, the letter E, and now if I move this menu out of the way, we can see my quick hotkey setting is set to open my maid or butler by pressing Alt plus E. If I wanted to change this, so I can do the same thing, hold Alt, left click open storage, go into this menu, and left click a different letter to change my hotkey. Of course, even though I've set it to Alt E, I do get a message saying I don't have an available maid until that cooldown is done. But now that that hotkey's set, I won't ever have to open this menu again if I don't want to. I know this guide is about maids, but I do want to quickly show you on the pet list here, you can do the same hold Alt and left click For example, group 1, take out pet group 1. I will left click, press to set, and I'm going to choose the key O. Now I'll do the same, hold Alt and left click, check in all. If you do this, it might not seem like anything's happening, but that's just because the hotkey settings menu is behind the pet list. I'll move this out of the way so we can see check in all pets. I'll left click, press to set, and this time I'll choose I. I'll go ahead and hit close now. If I wanted to see a list of all my hotkeys, I can click this and see that Alt E is for my storage maid, Alt I is to check in, and Alt O is to check out my pets. If you haven't already assigned your pet to a group, you'll need to check it in first. Either left click check in, or of course I can use my new hotkey Alt and I to check in my pets. Now I'll left click 1 to assign it to group 1. As the tooltip says, you can put 5 pets in a group. Now that that's assigned, I can do Alt O, and now my pet is out. This can be a super fast way to check in your pets so you don't waste food while you're just questing and not needing them to loot for you. If you wanted to use different numbers or letters, you can set all 5 groups to different keys. I personally use I and O because it's easy for me to remember that I is checking in my pets and O is taking out my pets. So now you know you can hit Control F or you can hit Alt E to access your storage maid, but I can also hit escape, click disconnect, and if you have another character, you can actually look at the inventory and pull items directly from the character with your storage maids. As you might tell by now, storage maids are so very useful and way more flexible than a transaction maid. You can hit F3 to go into the Pearl Shop. You can left click Travel Aid to go into this category, and you can see Maid Butler listed here. I'll left click that, and here you'll see Novice Maid and Butler Support Pack. I will be soon making a guide on all my recommendations for Pearl items, but if you've been playing this game and you absolutely know that you're enjoying it enough to want to spend real money, this Novice Pack is specifically available to new players. It's 60% off of the normal price, where a maid is normally on its own 1,200 pearls or $12 US. This pack, as it says, you select 4 from the list below. You can see Storage Maid and Transaction Maid are listed over and over here, and the differences are just cosmetic. The Storage Maid Fairy Risty, which looks like this, is no different from the Storage Maid Fairy Kiara that looks like this. Storage maids and butlers, regardless of their appearance, do all the same things. And that's it for the basics of transaction and storage maids. If this was helpful, consider hitting like, get subscribed to see when the next guide comes out. Come join me when I'm live streaming next. And until next time, I will see you later.